Hey, I'm Jade Keogh.
And hello from me too, I'm Grace Seeley.
We both play for the Millwall Lionesses and are sponsored by the No One Likes Us talking team.
Why not sponsor one of our teammates just like they do?
To find out how, just email kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'll say that again. kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk.
In your email, say who you want to sponsor and we'll get back to you with the sponsorship details and what to do next.
This is all you have to do and it will help us to get back to where we belong. Thank you, guys.
Now, enjoy our Millwall fan show from No One Likes Us talking team.
Come on, Mir.
Bethany Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall fan show with the Millwall No One Likes Us talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Well, what a weekend. And it was my birthday too, which was lovely. So our first win at Loftus Road since 1989 and a single goal defeat at Coventry. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Jeff Burnige and Ted Robinson.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, evening, Pat.
Good evening.
Well, that's nice to hear from you that you're there and enjoying yourself. Evening, Jeff.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, that's good that you're loud and proud. And good evening, Ted.
Good evening, Eamonn. Good evening, all.
Well, you sounded like a policeman there, Ted. There you go.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, you did. Evening, all. There you go. What a game at Loftus Road. Loud, 11 shots on goal and 5 on target. But not enough for many fans at Coventry calling for Rowett to go. And one saying we should have had Rob Edwards, who went to Luton. What do you think about that idea, Pat? Should we have had Rob Edwards that went to Luton?
No, I'm quite happy with who he's picked up. I like our two new boys. I mean, they both scored. I don't think people can complain with what we've got there. There's not a lot more you can say to that. I think as much as he's not my favourite man in the world, I think he's done well with the few buys he's done of late.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. Jeff, what were your thoughts on the Coventry game?
Well, it was after the Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it? We all enjoyed Saturday. I was at Loftus Road. I have to admit I wasn't sitting in the, or standing or sitting with the Millwall fans at their end. Oh. So I can report that, the noise from the Millwall fans was unbelievable all the way up to the other end, which was, I was quite close to the other end. So that was fantastic. I went home feeling brilliant. I thought we played pretty well. Coventry, I forecast last time I was on, I think, that, or maybe it was just privately, that we win at QPR and draw 0-0 with Coventry. And of course that nearly happened. But so I think everyone could see that in Victor Gorkes, they had the outstanding striker in the division. Can't think of many better than him, and he was a big difference on the night. What disappointed me, though, was that how well we did in the last 15-20 minutes when we had to, and after the substitutions, because we very nearly got a point, and if we had done, we'd have all been talking about that game in a very different way. But we scored 0, that's 0 points, and now we have to put that behind us.
Right, Ted. You've heard what Pat and Jeff have had to say, and what was your take on those two games?
Well, I think it's typical Championship, isn't it? I mean, one game we've won and we played well and we got probably the result that we deserved. And the next game, you know, as Jeff was saying, Saturday night was a beautiful night for Millwall fans. I think we all felt really good. Our 2 new boys had scored. We looked good in the process. And then we go to Coventry and for whatever reason, we didn't get going. But sometimes you have to give credit to the opposition. And Jeff was talking about Galbraith and he's right. Without a doubt, he's the best striker, in my opinion, in the Championship. And Coventry have always been a decent side ever since they've come up. We've always struggled a little bit against them and that. But also, like Jeff said, in the last 15 minutes, we showed what we can do once we got ourselves going. The one real positive for me out of the Coventry game was the young kid, Essay. To me, he's ready to play in the first team if he has to. And, you know, he gives us another option off the bench. But, you know, without that bit of brilliance from Victor, who, you know, and I don't think Creswell done too much wrong in that incident. He just got turned and he's in it early. It's a fantastic shot. It was a great goal. And sometimes we look for ways of stopping great goals when there ain't really any way. So it was disappointing to lose after such a good win against QPR, but I think that's the Championship all over. And I'm sure Coventry are going to go ahead and do that to a few other sides up and around by us.
Yeah, I think there's the potential for them to do that. They have shown that they can hold the opposition, and
there's certainly no reason to ask for Rowett's head after that one game either. That's just getting ridiculous, to be quite honest.
Well, that's the view.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that online.
Have you not?
I haven't seen one person say that.
You should come on to NOLA and see it there. Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is, Eamonn, if you'd have said to any Millwall fan at the start of the season, we'd be in the middle of February with 1 point behind the playoff places with 2 games in hand, I think there's a lot of people would have been jumping up and down for joy with that situation, which is where we're at. So, you know, we've got to just plough on from here, haven't we? Yeah. You know, 2 tough games coming up. But, you know, you've got to forget sometimes a defeat is how you bounce back from it. And let's hope we bounce back on Saturday.
Yeah, let's be hopeful. And that's as much as we can do. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for now, let's talk about G&M Motors.
Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by family business G&M Motors of Gravesend and Meopham in Kent. They are Millwall fans too. They've been Honda dealers for over 50 years. At G&M Motors Gravesend, you can purchase a new Honda. At both Gravesend and Meopham, they have a combined range of over 150 quality used cars and ex-demonstrators to suit all budgets and lifestyles. They also offer a comprehensive range of repair and maintenance services to ensure your vehicle stays reliable, safe, and retains a higher value with trust. G&M Motors, Gravesend and Meopham are dear friends of the Julians family, from Lenny to Debbie, and also our Millwall Fan Show.
Anyhow, I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay. With me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Jeff Burnige and Ted Robinson. Many thanks to our sponsors, G&M Motors of Gravesend and Meopham. Our first guest was Lambeth born and started his footballing career via the West Ham United youth system. He made his league debut at Exeter City on loan in 1999. Swindon paid £300,000 for him, which was good money in the day, before he moved on to stints at Hull City, Leyton Orient, and before he joined the team he supported, Millwall, in 2007. He made 107 appearances for us, scored 25 goals and kept the bench warm on other 5 occasions, until he departed in May 2012 and joined Brentford for 100k. Without saying any more, let's say hello to Gary Alexander.
Evening, Gary.
Evening, Gary.
Evening, Gary.
Hello.
Before I hand you over to the panel, cast your mind back to the 20th of February 2007. You are playing at the Den, but for Orient. You scored 2 goals. Can you remember that day?
I can. I think I put Millwall 1-0 up with an own goal, didn't I?
You certainly gave us that goal. I think it was late on, actually. I think he was trying to get us back into it because you scored early on for Orient. That was a bit of a bad day, that, I think, for us.
Yeah, I think you'd been on an unbelievable run and were chasing playoffs, weren't you?
Yeah.
I think we won. Was it 4-2 in the end?
I think it was 5-2 in the end.
5-2. I set up. I think Ryan Jarvis got a hat trick, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember it well. Got plenty of abuse walking off.
I would imagine. Yeah, it's not unknown. Not unknown. But there you go. That's football. Anyway, thanks for that.
Hello, Gary. Pat here. Can you remind us about how the move to Millwall came about? Was there interest from any other clubs?
My contract was coming to an end at Orient, and I had a phone call to say like Millwall were obviously interested, and for me, no brainer. Being brought up just down the road, hanging around by the Den, it was a no brainer. There probably was other interest, but once I heard that, there was nowhere else I wanted to go.
Well, that's fantastic, and thanks for doing that. I would say, without a doubt.
Good evening, Gary. Again, it's Jeff Burnige here, mate. It's so good to hear from you. You joined us under Willie Donachie, I think, for a short time. And then Richard Shaw, who had been Willie's assistant, he filled the managerial spot for a month or so before Kenny Jackett arrived for the remainder of your time at Millwall. Were you concerned about your position in the club when Kenny arrived, as new brooms can often sweep clean? And how did you find Kenny as your manager?
No, Kenny was brilliant. I still speak to Kenny today. Obviously, didn't go great under Willie. I don't think we, as a team, we had the best of spells. I was on a drought. Kenny came in, had a conversation. Kenny had obviously seen me play over the years, so he knew that I could score goals. He knew what I was about. He said, "Look, keep working hard. The goals will come." And eventually, they started flowing. But yeah, Kenny was brilliant. I love working under Kenny. Great lad. And as I said, I still speak to him and Joe Gallen today.
Fantastic. And there was about 20-odd games, wasn't it, before you scored?
Yeah, 20-odd days, and then got my Christmas present late on Boxing Day, didn't I? I got a hat-trick. So that was obviously nice. But, it's one of them. I was 20 games without a goal, and listen, it's not easy at the Den with that. But as I said, the fans stuck with me, and eventually the goals came, as I knew they would.
Yeah.
Hi, Gary, it's Ted here. You got to play a key part in the 08-09 season, leading to a playoff final against Scunthorpe, we all remember. Were you aware that our objective was promotion at the start of the season? And least we forget, the best goal ever scored at Wembley.
I don't think we need to be obviously informed that our ambition is promotion, because any footballer that starts a season and doesn't believe their team can be promoted might as well not be playing.
Yeah.
So we was more than aware that we wanted to go up. We was a big club within that league, so it was something we all wanted to do. We had a great bunch of lads and we was hungry for promotion. That's why we play football, to win things. So we're more than aware that the club wants promotion, but as individuals, we always want promotion, no matter what team we're playing for, and we believe we can get that before the season starts. So that obviously covers that. And then to get to Wembley that day, that's like a dream come true for any kid. But to score 2 goals, as I said before, I would have took a tap in or not scoring to win that game. But it gives me fond memories to look back knowing that I've scored 2 goals at Wembley, and one of them's obviously talked about today by a lot of people.
Neil Weldy, that one.
Yeah, it's a great strike, but it's obviously disappointing to come away not have won the game. And probably looking back, from a selfish point of view, I've scored at Wembley, but from a personal point of view, me personally, I'd want to win and not lose the game. I'd rather have not scored.
Well, you did have the opportunity at the end there, didn't you?
I did. I had the chance for the hat trick, but as we've seen before too well, I thought he was going to get a flick on it. He didn't, and I've actually headed it way better than the goal I actually scored. Like the connection was good, and it just on the day it just went the wrong side of the post. But so it's just one of them things. It's obviously a disappointment, but I can look back on that day tremendously proud, and my kids were there, my family was there, and I've scored at Wembley. It's people's dreams.
Yeah, it was. It was. And the dream that we all remember so well.
Gary, I understand that your son George is on loan from Bromley to Welling. Fans always want to ask how you think he's progressing.
So George, obviously, when he left Millwall, obviously went to Bromley. Important to get men's football. Had a good spell last year in the team. Probably would want to score more goals if you ask George on a personal note. Would have wanted to score more goals, but performance-wise wasn't too bad. Some good games. Going into men's football is never easy, especially at that level. It's a good level. It's a tough level when you come straight out of academy football. And this year he's found it hard to get in the team for whatever reason. I've watched games and everyone has opinions, but for whatever reason, I don't pick that team. The manager picks the team. And he hasn't been playing. So it was important that he got some minutes under his belt. Look, Bromley obviously think a lot of him because they've extended his deal before he left, but he hadn't got as many games as he would have liked. So, with probably 3 months left of the season, it was important just to go, get used to hitting the back of the net, go to Welling and play some minutes.
Yeah. And how do you think he's progressing there, Gary?
I think it will do him well. I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I think it's massive. As I said, when you're brought up in the academy system and you're playing under 23s football and it's tippy-tappy, it's you have it, we have it, you attack, we attack, like standoff. Whereas all of a sudden you get into the real world, whether that be even down as far as the Ryman leagues. If scholars were to go out, I think it would benefit them so much more than just playing in that. It's great that they get progressed into the 23s, but when you go and play with men, it depends on something. There's a win bonus on it. There's, everything's on the line. You're getting hit from behind where you've never had that. So it does take time to adapt in terms of strength, speed of game. You don't get the time you think you have, So, yeah, as I said, it's a big year coming up next year for George. He's got an extension, but hopefully he can go to Welling, get some minutes, understand the men's game a little bit more. And he's 22 this year. So, as I said, it's time to kick on.
Great.
Gary, there was a great group of players over your time at the Den, and in 9-10 we managed to win in the playoffs against Swindon, thankfully. We had Chris Hackett on last week and he reminisced about Neil Harris, yourself and Steve Morrison and what great guys you all were in receiving these crosses and scoring a few from these crosses, I might add. We had 700 plus Football League games and still counting Tony Craig on too. How do you remember your co-strikers and Chris and Tony?
Well, obviously, I really enjoyed. I didn't get to play with Morrow too often because obviously Morrow came in. I was injured the following season.
That's right.
So I didn't get much time to partner Morrow, and maybe me and Morrow were maybe similar. So I think played in the 3 together, but certainly not in a 2 because we was probably pretty similar. But Neil, great, obviously, to play up front. Obviously, when I signed for the club, he's a legend of the club, So for me to sign and play with Neil, I'd watched him over the years, watched him score goals, great. And I'd like to together we had a great understanding some of the goals we scored. I still look back and watched. Do you remember the goal at Bournemouth we scored when it was about 3-1-2s between us, and we got the hat trick that day? That's one of the. There's not many goals better than during my time at Millwall than what I've seen, but. That was we had a good partnership. There was all as you knew what you got. He was up and down right winger. I think we had James Hendry as well. You know the cross is coming in, so you can make your run. If it's not, we'd let them know. But at the same time, if they're delivering crosses and we're not scoring the goals, we'd expect him to be popping at us. But no, Chris was a great lad. We had some fun times, as you said. That squad: Framo, Tony, Robbo, Chopper. All the boys were all Fordy, Dunny. All the lads were great lads. So. It was no surprise that we had the character the following season to lose a playoff and then get promoted the following season.
Is that right? I saw you turn out for Erith and Belvedere last year.
Yeah, I did. I had a few run-outs. I was sat home doing nothing. I was getting fit, obviously, because I run the marathon last year, so I was getting fit. I was a manager, a director there, and he said, "Would I come along and just help the lads, and have a few run-outs?" And I really enjoyed it.
And how did you feel afterwards?
That's probably why I don't play. A few days after is a little bit of a struggle now. I'll be 44 this year, but I played vets the year before, and then I was asked to go back and play at that level, and you know, you can still play at that level. Your brain's got it, but as I said, your legs don't take it, and then it takes a few days to recover. So they're few and far between now, them sort of games for me.
Yeah, I can remember doing something silly like that myself. Well, for me, silly about that age as well. But are you still into coaching and things like that?
I'm not at the minute, to be fair. My life's become pretty busy in terms of that, in terms of coaching. Got a new job. I just started a new job in September, so it's double busy and it's taking me up and down the country and probably on to bigger and better things. So I've had to concentrate on that. So at the moment, no. Do I look out for every result going? I love following the non-league football. I love following the league football, you know, like, so as I said, I get to football as much as I can. I've been to Millwall a bit this year. And I love watching it, but I just haven't got the time at the minute to be coaching, and it doesn't pay us at them sort of levels, you know, so it's one of them, you've got to move on.
No. And talking about being to Millwall a bit this year, what do you reckon are their chances?
Listen, I think it's going to be consistency, isn't it? Now, obviously, we've had our bad spell, hopefully, earlier in the season, and the boys have picked up and done tremendously well, you know, and I'm watching them. They know how to win. Obviously, Coventry Tuesday night was a bit of a disappointment, but, you know, as we couldn't have asked for a bigger game to bounce back on Saturday against second in the table and Sheffield United. You're a massive club, so hopefully then we can cause well, it's not an upset at the Den, is it? But hopefully we can get a result, a positive result, and stay in that mix. Yeah,
that's what I think we need to do. He hasn't assembled a bad team, old Rowett, with the finances, I think, and that's the challenge for a club like Millwall at this level. But let's be hopeful, as they say. Anyway, thanks, Gary, for coming on the show. It's been brilliant to talk with you, and there is so much more to explore. All our best to you and your family. Hopefully we'll get you back for some more in the not too distant future.
Pleasure to one as always.
But before I do let you go, I just want your prediction for that game at the Den against Sheffield United.
I've got to talk from my heart. It's going to be a tough game. I think we saw that in the FA Cup. They're a good side. They're a top side.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of the ball. I think they'll probably dominate the ball. But you know what? If get behind them as they do, like we've seen before and in the past, with when the big sides come down, they're expected to win, but we're going to sneak it and we'll nick a 1-0.
Lovely. That'd be just fine. Gary, bye for now. Lovely to speak with you, as I said. Take care.
Take care.
Bye, Gary.
Cheerio, Gary. Cheerio, mate. Bye.
Take care.
On Tuesday, the 14th of March, ahead of our game against Swansea City, Roy Larner, who is known for his gallantry at London Bridge in confronting 3 machete-wielding terrorists who murdered and caused mayhem in the area on the night of June the 3rd, 2017. He will be at the Lions Centre in Ballina Road from 5:30pm. The Lion of London Bridge books will be available to purchase, and Roy will sign those books ahead of the main event at 6:15. Our very own Jeff Burnige will then host Roy in discussion and bring questions from the floor. You can hear the story of Roy's hurt, reform, and his ongoing fight for compensation. Arthur Kitchener, singer and songwriter, will also perform Roy Larner, the Lion of London Bridge. The evening closes at 7:15pm to allow fans to get their seats for the match. For tickets, contact k.bennett@millwallcommunity.org.uk. So let me say that again. For tickets, contact k.bennett@millwallcommunity.org.uk. And on the night, please make a donation if you can to the Harvey Brown MPS Society, who support families with MPS and similar disorders that cause a range of progressive disabilities.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Jeff Burnige and Ted Robinson. That's wonderful. Don't miss that event, I'll tell you that now. It's one that we all will want to listen to. What people don't know is the rehabilitation that he undertook with Millwall Football Club in dealing with the anxieties that he had post the event. That'll be good to hear Jeff and Roy discuss that.
Alice here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Alice, please keep us posted with the videos on what you're up to. We miss all that. We have news from Millwall Romans and Pride, and a Lionesses review and preview from Jeff Burnige. So let's start with Jeff.
The Lionesses first team have unfortunately had 2 inactive Sundays. Unfortunate because on the 29th of January they lost in extra time at Dartford in the London and South East Regional League Cup, and they would love to have put that behind them with a win in the league. The opportunity comes this Sunday, but they have a very tough game at home to inform Ebbsfleet United, a well-funded women's team. The match kicks off at 1:30 at St Paul's Sports Ground in Salter Road, Rotherhithe, and all are welcome. Normally admission is free. The Lionesses are a little depleted by a suspension to Shannon Drew, an injury to new signing Stefania Apache, and the departure of Millie Penfold to Dartford. However, it is important that the girls return to winning ways, and it should be a very competitive game. Meanwhile, Ted Jones's under-18 squad carried on their highly impressive season by defeating Nottingham Forest 7-1 in the Junior Premier League last Saturday. They have 4 players regularly in the first team every match, but their performances have been superb. First teamer Cadence Kabadaki got some minutes in this match to keep up her match fitness and scored one of the goals. Ellen Napper and Ellie Hinkley scored 2 each, and Chloe Bryan and Margaret Adekunle completed the scoring. But this was a superb all-round performance in difficult conditions. This Sunday they play a vital game in the Capital Cup quarter-final, which is a competition for senior teams mainly from the Greater London Women's League. They are away to Actonians at Gunnersbury in West London, and what an achievement it would be to progress to the semi-final. Good luck, girls.
Pat, the Lionesses under-18 side seem to be doing very well. And what are your thoughts?
It's great when you've got the juniors doing that well. I mean, they're only going to progress and come up through the ranks to strengthen the main squad. As with any team, if you've got a good youth set up, and I know they're always recruiting, so if anyone knows any really, really good players who want to play for them, I suggest they get in contact with the Lionesses. But yeah, they're winning quite a few lately.
Yeah, they are. And some big names that they won against, as Jeff pointed out.
Yeah.
OK, next up, Millwall Pride from player Danny Jenkins, who is also a Millwall fan too. Hi Danny, welcome to the show. How did you come to support Millwall?
Came to support Millwall when I was a kid. It's always been a family affair. Sort of my dad's dad took him, and then my dad started taking me and my brothers. I've been going ever since.
How's it going this season with Pride?
It's been a bit of a rough season with Pride so far. We've had only picked up a couple of points, but taking time with new players, bedding in and everything, and sort of learning to play together. But yeah, I think it's gonna start picking up soon.
Good point on Sunday.
It was a good point on Sunday. I think unlucky to not get a win out of that one. Really, I think we were all a bit frustrated when we finished as well, which is a good thing, because obviously we're frustrated that we didn't get that win. We really felt we should have done.
Are you still recruiting players?
Always looking for players. If people want to come down for training, it's on a Tuesday night. It's obviously open to everyone. So yeah, if anyone's ever interested, just get in touch.
So what's up next, Danny?
Next up, we've got quite a big game against Charlton Invicta, who are doing quite well this season. But yeah, that's away at Charlton as well on Sunday. But I feel like we played quite well against them there last season, and yeah, I felt we could get something out of that game.
And lastly, what about a prediction for Millwall versus Sheffield United?
Prediction for Millwall, Sheffield United. Obviously tricky because Sheffield United are playing quite well recently, although I did see they lost obviously during the week this week. I feel like Millwall do quite well against some of the big oppositions when we play them, especially at home. We really step up a lot of the time, so I feel like that could be 2-1 Millwall.
Thanks, Danny. Really good to hear from you. All the best against Charlton. Keep the pressure on them. Ta-ra, mate. Miles now reports on the Romans and Pride. Ted, how do you find his reports?
Oh, listen, Miles is a new recruit to our No One Likes Us talking team, and in my eyes, he's a very, very fine reporter. And he says it how it is, and it comes across very well. So carry on, Miles, doing a very good job.
Yeah. He's looking forward to joining up with Jeff to do some additional work for No Luck. So we'll see how that pans out. Pat, looking good for the Romans as they get closer to clinching the title again, and a GFN Cup tie against Dublin to look forward to. You've met both sides, Romans and Pride, and they think a lot of you, which I was quite taken back, actually.
Well, I wasn't. I mean, it's quite understandable, really, isn't it?
Is it?
No, I tell you what, they are the nicest group of people I've ever met. Paul Odin's absolutely brilliant. And, you go down there, and obviously it was Pride v Romans when we went, and every single one of them, they come up to you, they're friendly. So if anyone has any doubt in joining them, I mean, it's for everyone. It's not, it's not. It's inclusive. It's a very inclusive setup. But don't hesitate. Do join them because you can't meet a nicer group of people.
No, fantastic. Anyhow, when Saturday comes, we face Sheffield United at the Den for a 12:30 kickoff. I noticed there was quite a few people that weren't aware of that, but I don't know how why.
Hands up.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. And George didn't know that. And
what'd you let him know for?
Well, there you go.
What'd you let me know for? I'm going to be left with all the programmes.
Anyway, for us, Mason Bennett, Callum Stiles and Sean Hutchinson are all set for lengthy spells on the sidelines, while Adomo Imako played for the under-21s and put in a shift for the first half in that game. And the Lions will face a number of their immediate promotion rivals in the next 3 weeks. The Lions lost 2-0 to both sides away from home back in August, although they seem to be much more resilient than they were at the start of the campaign. However, the Blades and the Clarets have shown they are the two standout sides in the division, and Rowett is excited for the challenge that his side will face in the next few days. So here we are facing two sides at the top of the league. What do you reckon? Blades, Clarets? Can we show a winning couple of games there? Pat?
Ooh, two difficult games. I think if we come away with 2 points from both games, we'd be doing well. I think we're more likely to beat Sheffield than we are Burnley. I think the cup game, he fielded a very weakened side. It was a poor show. I think we'll be at full strength come Saturday, and I think we'll give them a good run for their money.
Good.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a win from this.
That'd be good. So what's your prediction, Pat?
I predict 2-1.
Super. Ted, what's your thoughts? I mean, you witnessed some of the heavy information sharing on the group on WhatsApp the other night. What do you think?
Eamonn, I'm a Millwall fan. Look, these are 2 games against the top 2 sides in our division. I'm much happier playing the top 2 sides than I am playing the bottom 2 sides.
Yeah.
Because Millwall are traditionally better against them sides. There's no doubt in my mind with a pretty decent crowd there on Saturday, if not a full crowd. Even though it's on Sky Telly and whatever, the atmosphere is going to be buzzing. I think every Millwall fan, if they're like me, will be hoping and praying that we get revenge for the cup game, because I don't forget the way the guy celebrated when he scored a goal in front of us.
Yeah.
And I didn't particularly like losing to them then. And listen, I can see Millwall as a team raising their game and playing nearer to their best than they have done in recent times. I'll keep saying this about this side. I think there's more to come from it than what we've actually seen. And I think we couldn't get 2 better games to be playing than these next 2 games than after the defeat against Coventry. It's the 2 sort of games that we need as fans, the side needs as a team. And I'm fairly confident that we're going to put up a real good show in both games. Now, as Pat said, they're 2 good sides. Sheffield United and Burnley are 2 very good sides. We know that. They can play. But I've got a real good feeling about the Sheffield United game, and I think I'll go for a 2-0 win there. I think Burnley will be tougher. I think Burnley are the outstanding side in the division, but it's normally them sides that we do play our best. So, but I would take a draw against Burnley. So I'd go 2-0 against Sheffield United and a 1-1 draw against Burnley. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's the other way round.
Okay. Thanks, Ted. Jeff, so there's a bit of a mixed bunch about facing these 2 sides. They certainly appear to be the sides that are going to be there and chasing for the direct promotion slots. Do you think what was said in the week about, I suppose, Sheffield United losing their touch and people thinking that they may not be the side that is going to go up?
I think we are playing Sheffield United at a good time. I think their confidence will have taken a knock with their defeat at home to Middlesbrough on Wednesday. They were at home, weren't they?
They were.
I fancy Middlesbrough to catch them and get the 2nd spot. So I think we may be playing them at a good time. They won't have faced Watmore and Burke when they played us before. And I know that several other players were left out of the starting lineup that day by ourselves. I'm confident that we're going to win this time and beat them 2-0. As for Burnley, I think I'm going to have to wait until after the Sheffield United game before I have any idea at all what to predict for a Burnley game.
Well, that's a reasonable view, Jeff, and I'll take that on board. But quite some positive thoughts there, guys, and let's be hopeful, as they say in the trade. You can't beat being hopeful, can you? It's what we do as Millwall fans. Okay, we will take a break there. How to sponsor or donate to the Millwall Community Trust.
The work of the Millwall Community Trust makes a big difference for people in Lewisham, Southwark and North Kent. Times are getting tougher, and to help them make a difference, you can help too, by making a donation. Give a one-off donation or a monthly amount. Your support is crucial in raising vital funds for their work, or by fundraising for them. If you are running, swimming, cycling, cooking, dancing, parachuting or anything else, why not do it for the Millwall Community Trust? Interested? Then either email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. I'll say that again. Email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. Thanks if you can.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Jeff Burnige and Ted Robinson. If you can do any of those things that Bethany mentioned, it will go a long, long way to support the Millwall Community Trust in meeting the needs of the community. Our final guest tonight is a Millwall fan because her family are. She is remembered by so many for saying, "When Jimmy was killed, I promised him I would dedicate my life to working for peace, and each and every day I pray, Lord, let me be an advocate for peace, for all our young people are precious just like Jimmy, and we need this world to be rid of anger and filled with love." She's a legend in her own lifetime, along with her family. Margaret Mizen MBE. Hello, Margaret.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, Margaret.
Evening, Margaret.
Hi.
Evening, Margaret.
Hi, how are you all?
Yeah, really good.
Lovely.
I'm just recovering from my evening at the wheel shunters, but we'll come on to that.
Yeah, that is. We're gonna.
Fabulous night.
Yeah. Well, it was for Jeff. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Before the panel asks questions, it is tough times, Margaret. How is your work progressing in this era of financial challenges?
Well, actually, we're doing really well. Obviously, when we had lockdown, funding stopped completely, apart from we did a couple of small fundraisers. But it has been a tough time. But I was really concerned after that, schools wouldn't start coming in again and things will be difficult. But actually, we're doing really well. Financially, obviously, we can always do better, but we're holding our own. And schools all around the country are now getting in touch saying, will you come and talk to our young people? So we're doing okay. But it has been a hard slog, I have to say.
Fantastic.
Hi, Margaret. It's Ted here.
Hi, Ted.
Hiya, Margaret. How did the fundraiser go at the wheel shunters off Filderton Road after the Sunderland game? We saw a young Mr. Burnige enjoying himself, as he just mentioned, and he's still recovering, as we can tell. But it sounded like a really, really good night. Shame I couldn't get there myself, but I believe you had a band called the Molotovs play as well, didn't you? If I remember right.
The Molotovs are a fantastic young group. I mean, they play sometimes at the start of the games, I think. In fact, they're there.
Yes, they do. Yeah, around by the bus. That's right.
They're just a young group who I think they're fabulous. But their parents have actually supported us for some time now, for a good few years. So we love them very much. But actually, it was a fabulous night. Sometimes you need to have some fun, and it was a fun night organised by Terry Rees, who, as you all know, is fabulous anyway. But we raised well over £2,000, which for us is an awful lot of money for our charity. We are a small charity. But more than anything, it was just such fun, and everyone was in good spirits. And we actually took along our daughter, Samantha, who has Down syndrome. She doesn't come to much because basically she tells everyone it's boring. But she had a really, really good evening, and she danced the night away, and everyone was kind to her. And and I know Jeff had a really good night as well.
Did he embarrass himself?
No, not really.
Oh, not really? Okay.
Not that you noticed anyway.
No. But no, it was good. And as I say, raised such a fantastic amount of money for the charity, which couldn't be better. So many people helped as well. So many people were kind. Harvey's mum and dad supplied the food. That they had the Molotovs, as we spoke about earlier. People are just so kind.
It's brilliant.
It was an amazing evening, Margaret. Your speech, Barry's speech, I enjoyed that. Great seeing Harvey playing the part that he played. I'm glad you mentioned Terry. He worked like a Trojan, didn't he, on the evening?
Terry always does. Terry does an awful lot for us. Over the course of the year, his group raise money for us anyway, and he's always doing things. He's just a great support to the charity. He's an absolute ambassador.
Yeah, it's true. I really enjoyed myself. I ended up dancing. I was shaking a leg, just a little
You did
bit
embarrass
shake.
yourself then, Jeff.
The Molotovs are amazing. What a band they are. They're obviously young, but I thought they were brilliant, and I'm going to be watching them at 11:15, I think they're on, before the game on Saturday.
That's right. I mean, Matthew, the singer, he is a singer. He's only 14.
Jeez.
It's just absolutely brilliant. They're going to go a long way, I think. And it'd be nice
agree.
to say that they're part of Millwall as well.
I agree. I thought they were. I didn't know he was 14. That's incredible. He was brilliant. The girl drummer, I can't remember her name. She was very good.
Her name's Ice.
Ice the baby.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to ask you about was the Mizen Cup, which was played out at the Millwall Community Trust on the Thursday of the week before, a week or so ago.
That's
Can
right.
you tell everybody about this event?
Yeah, so it's arranged by Sean and the Millwall Community Scheme. It's put on really as part of the Jimmy's Day. So they hold this football tournament. They bring in schools. They had 10 schools actually part of it. And the idea is the winner gets a cup and medals for Jimmy, really. And the idea is then that on Saturday we will present the young people on the pitch with their cup. Do you know what? It's just fabulous. The Millwall Community Scheme is just fabulous. It really is. And hopefully in the coming months, we will start going into some of their schools with them as well, sharing Jimmy's story and, kind of working together. So I'm looking forward to maybe in time a real partnership. But Sean does, again, a fabulous job. He's just a really good chap. But they've taken on Jimmy's name and... for us, it's very touching. So the actual day is just spent around these young people. It only goes on for about 2 or 3 hours, but the kids love it, as you can imagine, and and it's a real competition. And what we found this time, and Sean will probably agree with this, is the fact that it was there was no real bickering between the clubs or even the young people together. It was real team spirit, and I think that's important.
It is.
Hello, Margaret. It's Pat here.
Hi, Pat.
Hello. Thanks for sending the photos of Jimmy through for the match day programme.
That's okay.
We're doing a couple of pages on your foundation and Jimmy himself.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so Saturday, it's the annual event. What can we expect to see happening on that day?
It's going to be much the same as it's been in the last couple of years. We've tried to kind of find something that really works, because we've had lots of things in the past, but what we find now, it's about the young people that we work with, and that's why we bring in the young people from the football clubs to come on the pitch. But at the beginning, Barry will go on the pitch and just thank everybody. The Millwall players and the Sheffield players will all be wearing T-shirts at the start, but also this year the ref and the referee wants to wear a T-shirt as well, which I think is, and the linesman. And according to Billy Taylor, this has never happened before, so they want to kind of get on board with the charity.
That's amazing.
I think it's absolutely incredible, and the support we get. So the day really is remembering Jimmy, but from our part, it's us saying thank you to the fans, because I'm not saying this to patronise or anything. The love that is shown to us through Millwall has been absolutely, I can't even explain it. It's just, it brings tears to your eyes. It's the support that we get. So we're grateful. It's going to be a fabulous day. I'm so excited, actually. Obviously arranged by Nicky Warford, along with Terry Reese obviously does the bucket collections, and Billy Taylor works behind the scenes for us as well. So everyone's played a part. I just go and smile, and that's all I do, really.
Make sure one of those buckets are by the programme sellers, because we won't give people any change back. We'll put it straight in the buckets.
Okay, I'll tell Terry that. It's sadly, people like to use contactless now, but for us to have contactless machines, it actually works out so expensive, and I think we're too small a charity at the moment to be able to do that. In time, that'll be the plan. But yeah, the trouble is people don't have much money on them anymore, so whatever we get will be a bonus, and if people haven't got anything, it doesn't matter. It's not about how much we raise, it's about just awareness of Jimmy and thanking the fans or the supporters.
I'm amazed the referee's putting a T-shirt on, Margaret. I mean, I'll try not to swear at him as much when he takes it off now, I mean, in honour of that. But that's a big thing, getting a referee and official to actually wear a T-shirt. That's fantastic.
I know, and Billy Taylor, when he got in touch, he said he's never known this to happen before, so it's kind of touching, isn't it, really?
It is. You'll have to grab hold of Sky as well.
Oh, that's another thing, of course. Sorry, there's so many things go on. Sky have actually said they'd like to do something beforehand, so there is a possibility that myself and Barry, or just Barry, will be on Sky, so let's wait and see. But I know what Barry will be saying. He'll be saying this is about the Millwall supporters. But I actually have to say a little bit about the Sheffield supporters as well, because actually last year they raised an awful lot of money for us, and even this year so far, one of them has sent us a cheque for £75. And they've asked for buckets again at their end. So we're very grateful to them. And as it happens, in March, I'm actually going to a couple of schools in Sheffield. So, yeah, so it all follows on, really.
Well, I think we're all looking forward to this game. There's so much happening, and it's going to be a memorable day. But Margaret, it's 15 years and getting near to 16 since we had the sad news of the passing of Jimmy, and the message of forgiveness, peace and hope undeniably stands as strong as ever in today's society. I always remember what Neil Harris said about it back in 2019, and I'd like to quote what he said. They're a huge inspiration, not just to anyone associated with Millwall, but to everyone in our society in general. The work they have put in on the back of unimaginable personal tragedy is nothing short of remarkable, and we can only thank them for their continued efforts. The fact that they are speaking in schools and events across the country and not just in the local area says a lot about just how powerful their story and their message is. What Barry and Margaret do for the For Jimmy organisation as a whole, for our young people, should not be underestimated. They talk a lot about forgiveness, about peace and hope, and for me those are the key lessons for anyone growing up in what is undoubtedly a troubled society right now. I have known the family for many years, and I continue to be amazed at their strength and their determination and drive. They are amongst the most impressive human beings you could be fortunate enough to meet. Those were the words of Neil Harris in 2019, and I don't think any of us on the panel would disagree with even one of them. You undoubtedly, Margaret, you and Barry, are amazing and continue to be so. No finer words about you have ever been said by a Millwall legend about other Millwall legends, the Mizen family.
Oh, thank you. I'm just saying, I'm so humbled by that. I haven't heard that before. And I don't really know what to say. It's just, we're just ordinary people with lots of love around us. You know, for your listeners, when we think of forgiveness, it's not so much about, it's more about the forgiver than the forgiven. And after you lose someone, you've got to learn to lead a new life. And that's what Barry and I had to do. And this is the way that we do it, through our forgiveness, peace and hope. And let's hope it makes a difference to young people, because things have to get better for them.
They've got to. It's got to.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. That was really nice.
Oh, but yeah, thank you.
Bless you, Margaret, and your family in doing what you do.
That's okay.
It's quite amazing. All in the memory of Jimmy.
Well, we have no intentions of giving up at the moment. So long may we do it for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Keep those old knees working. They'll be all right.
Absolutely. Well, we've got our big fundraiser coming up in May. You know, we do the Walking for Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I need to get a little bit fit for that, I think.
Yeah. Well, you'll have old Kelly Webster in that, I should think. So
Well, she's always there. You know, Kelly and Ellen, they help at everything, and Terry obviously. So yeah, it's always a good event, always. But I must say, for me, it gets harder each year. I have to be honest.
well, that's what Ted says. Funny enough. For him, that is. It's for him. Anyhow, lastly, as you may remember, all who are present, including guests, are asked to make a prediction for the next Millwall game, which is Millwall versus Sheffield United on Jimmy's Day this Saturday. How do you think that will finish? And please, would you give us a predicted score?
Well, I think it's going to be a good game. I was talking to Barry about it earlier, and obviously it's probably going to be a tough game. But my prediction is 2-1 to Millwall.
Wonderful. Okay. Absolutely wonderful.
So we shall see. But yeah, I have great faith.
Yeah, you do. Thanks, Margaret, for joining us this evening. Is there any listener or listeners you would like to say anything to?
I think just to all the listeners, thank you for the support that you give me and my family. Millwall is such a part of our family that we feel humbled every time we go there, we see people, we see tweets. So thank you all so much. And I couldn't give this to one person, it's to all of you. We love you very, very much.
We love you too. All the best to you, Barry, and your family. Hopefully we will hear from you once again next season. Bye, Margaret.
All right. Bless you all. Thank you. Bye all. Bye.
Bye, Margaret.
Bye, Margaret.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Fantastic, eh? Margaret Mizen. What a star. What can we say? And the Mizen family. I nearly forgot to say that, but yeah, they are. They are. And I could detect a few tears in Jeff's words there this evening, and I found that to be quite something that you said there.
You know what, Eamonn? There's sometimes words are not enough.
No.
And as beautiful as them words were from Neil, you get the feeling for what they do and how they are, it still doesn't say enough, if you know what I mean. They're just amazing people, absolutely amazing. I'm just in awe of them whenever I speak to them. They're fantastic.
They are. They are.
Yeah, you're right, Eamonn. I did feel those words that Neil wrote back in 2019. I couldn't have done better myself, and yeah, I enjoyed remembering that speech Neil made.
Yeah, she's never seen that, Margaret. So I'll send it to her. It's on the Millwall website. Anyway, we'll take a break there and listen to Debbie Julians with Harvey Brown talking about the Lions Food Hub.
Let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need your support. If you can help, and you can make a one-off or a regular monetary donation at Banquet, that is BANKUET, you will find them online. Insert www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub into your browser. I'll say that again, www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub. And the Lions Food Hub is all one word. On match days, you can make food and toiletry donations at the Lions Food Hub, which is opposite the 1885 bar at the Cold Blow Lane end of the ground. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via the Lions Food Hub Twitter or Facebook sites.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Patricia Maslin, Jeff Burnige and Ted Robinson. It's over 2 years when the Lions Food Hub came into being, which for us is something that's a bit bittersweet in terms of a celebration. Did we ever really foresee food hubs becoming a permanent fixture in the 21st century? Nonetheless, Kelly and Ellen Webster, all the Hubster team, their sponsors and those that donate are making such a difference in supporting those that are at risk. You can help them if you can, as the country sadly heads, so I'm led to believe, into further recession. We're all looking forward to when Saturday, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
An evening with Roy Larner, hosted by Jeff Burnige at the Lions Centre in Ballina Road, SC16, takes place on Tuesday, the 14th of March. From 5:30pm, the Lion of London Bridge books will be available to purchase, and Roy will sign books ahead of the main event at 6:15pm. The event will finish at 7:15pm ahead of Millwall's home game against Swansea City to allow fans to get to their seats. Light refreshments and snacks will be available from Harvey's Den Cafe within the event venue. Entry can be gained by booking in advance and making a donation on the night to the Harvey Brown MPS Society, who support families with MPS and similar disorders that cause a range of progressive disabilities. Book now by emailing kbennett@millwallcommunity.org.uk. That's KBENNETT@millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. To reserve your seat. Ticket availability is limited.
Next Friday, our host will be Johnny Burrow, and the panel will be Dave Hart, Miles Thornton and Stan Godwin. There will be a couple of guests and a review of this weekend's game and what is coming up. Additionally, call in all Dockers. Dockers Day will return for the first time since 2019 for our game against Huddersfield Town at the Den on Saturday the 18th of March. Our Phil Coleman will be there with his teammates of the FA Youth Cup winning side, a very unique side, I must admit, for Millwall, from 1978-79 to meet and greet the Dockers. Chris Bethel, the organiser, is still looking for former Dockers from the London Docks who had a great tradition in following Millwall to come along as guests on the day. If you know someone who was, or if you were a Docker, please contact Chris by email or at beths16@hotmail.com. That's in lowercase BETHES 16@hotmail.com. Or if you're on Facebook, you can contact Chris Bethel via Messenger.
You heard earlier from our sponsored Lionesses, Jade Keogh and Grace Seeley. That was at the beginning of the show, so why not sponsor a Lionesses kit, as they suggested? We do it from No One Likes Us Talking, so help them to get back to where they belong. If you're an organisation, you would get fantastic exposure opportunities for your business, just like the following: Victory goalkeeper gloves, Andy Rothery, Impetus Women's Football, Megan, Jay and Lola Baxter, Gianluca Sardi, and as I've just mentioned, also ourselves. On top of seeing your name on the club website, you'll be able to enjoy a range of benefits, including the following: a signed shirt, a meet with your sponsored player, 3 invitations to a VIP sponsor day, a free season ticket to all home games, and a presentation photo. Kit sponsorship is priced at £160 plus VAT. Purchase one, get in touch with the Lionesses by emailing, in this instance, Kelly Webster on kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'll say that again, kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk.
Don't forget you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away for both the Lions and Lionesses, and also updates on Millwall community matters too on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM, or on their website. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, Twitter, lots of social media sites, and all popular podcast sites. Thanks and good night, Pat.
Good night, Eamonn, and the team there.
Well, there you go. Thanks and good night, Jeff.
Good night, everybody, all the listeners.
Super. And thanks and good night, Ted.
Good night, one and all.
Wonderful. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night, and many thanks for listening to the No One Likes Us talking team.